Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Now, what if I told you this isn't just another zombie storyline about experiments going wrong in Black Ops 7? Now, this time, reality itself is dying, and every single map we've played so far in Black Ops 7's, well, they're not just locations. They're fragments of a collapsing universe. Now, with the new map, Totenreich, dropping literally in a few hours, tomorrow for me, don't know when you'll see this video, we finally have enough pieces to understand what's really happening. So this is the before Totenreich drops video, and trust me, this story is way darker and way bigger than anything Zombies has ever done before. Now, where this all begins, to understand Black Ops 7, we need to start right after the events of the previous chapter. The Requiem crew, Weaver, Gray, Carver, and Maya. They aren't just fighting zombies anymore. They got pulled into the Dark Aether itself. This isn't like the old days where you're time traveling, going from this timeline to that timeline. They're not traveling between dimensions either. They're trapped inside something far worse. A place where one time doesn't exist, reality does overlap, and memories can literally be stolen, erased, wiped, and added. And almost immediately, they realize something is already hunting them down. Now, let's talk about the Warden. At the center of everything in this Dark Aether universe is the new enemy, the Warden. And no, this isn't just another villain like we've seen before, like Dr. Monty. Well, actually, Dr. Monty wasn't really that bad, but I mean, he was bad, but he wasn't that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The Warden isn't trying to control the zombies. He's trying to rewrite existence itself. The horror of it all is because he's not doing anything for good or evil. He just simply exists. He's trying to gain existence for himself. That is the horrifying detail, kind of like a H.P. Lovecraft thing. The fear itself is that it exists, right? It's not trying to harm, not trying to kill, just simply existing and rewriting. Now, by harvesting something called essence, which is basically the soul, memory, and identity of a person all combined, it kind of gets a little kind of crazy and convoluted. All right, now here's where it gets a little terrifying. The Warden doesn't just kill you, he erases who you are by simply just existence himself. He is rewriting the existence, a timeline, a fractured universe, if you will. A piece of him is a part of you, and he now controls it, is the narrative that you're going, or that Black Ops 7 is going with, and he erases who you are, essentially. Now, the Shadowsmiths, it's like the gang. The Warden isn't really working alone. He controls ancient entities known as the Shadowsmiths. They're like time weavers, if you will. These things are just like bosses. They're living anchors of reality. They're the footholds of this fractured universe. Each one holds memories, souls, and pieces of existence itself. Because they exist, you exist. It is now anchored to the eternal plane, rooted in reality, and this gasmic, spacious void of a fractured universe, if you will. Which means the crew can physically fight them. They're not fighting a ghost, they can physically fight them. And they're not just surviving either. They're literally putting reality back together as it is, as it were, an image, a blip in existence itself held together by the anchor, which is why when we kill the bosses, reality itself starts to unravel, if you will. The first major break in all of this, before we even get close to Totenreich, early in the story, the crew encounters one of these entities, Vetharian, the big triangle dude that's spinning around, stuff like that. After defeating it, something insane happens. Maya and Dempsey regain their memories. That's the moment everything really clicks together. Killing a Shadowsmith doesn't just win a fight, it restores a piece of reality that the Warden had stolen away and imbued inside of a Shadowsmith. Now, things absolutely get crazy and they go cosmic here, just when it feels like the crew is getting control of themselves. They understand what they gotta do, see if they can replicate it and stuff like that. The story goes completely off the rails. They're transported into space, and not just space, a massive skull-shaped asteroid floating in the void, and inside it is another Shadowsmith, Caltheris, right? But here is the absolute twist. Caltheris is the asteroid. She, by the way, is the asteroid. And after defeating her, Nikolai and Gray regained their essence. And apparently there's like some love story between Nikolai and Maya or something like that. Or maybe it was Gray. I don't know. Nikolai and another girl in the group. It was weird. I didn't really get into that. That's like so nothing. Whatever. Nikolai, he's got game. But it comes at a cost anyways. It all comes at a cost after defeating Caltheris, the mysterious entity that's been guiding the crew. Well, it's captured by the Warden, right? And we also got another nod to an Easter egg, or an answer that we've been waiting so long for. It was all the way back in Black Ops 1 Shangri-La. Is Shangri-La on Earth? Is it on Mars? Where is it? And then it was hinted at in the Alpha Omega Black Ops 4 side Easter egg, where you go into a cave, you swim down into it, and then you pop up and you see Mars, big and bright, and it all comes full circle now, almost 10 or 14 years later, if you will, on Astra Malorum, that, hey, guess what? It was on Mars the entire time. Now, reality is breaking. Caltheris and the other guy are restoring Nikolai, Gray, all these other guys. Dempsey's back. Oh, they're all getting their souls back. The other half of the crew still hasn't got it back. We got 4 more people to get their souls back. But reality is still breaking. Reality is unwinding. And it comes one of the most important moments in the entire story. The crew gets trapped in a time loop at a nuclear test site in Nuketown, the Paradox Junction, if you will. And this is where we absolutely get the truth. They encounter 2 children who seem to exist outside of time itself. One pre, one po, and they reveal something chilling. The Warden isn't fixing reality, he's killing it. He's weaving time and anchoring it to fit his narrative. It's slowly unraveling existence altogether. Now, because the Warden exists, time itself does not, and the unraveling existence is still there. Now, if the Warden disappears, does that unraveling still exist, or is it negated and reverted back? Do we go back in time before the anchors are put there, or do we have to now live with the current reality absent of existence on this eternal plane? That is a real big question. It's almost like a paradox, if you will. I kind of get what I call it, the paradox junction. It's like, okay, we have a path that goes this way and a path that goes that way, but it's all paradoxical. One's pre, one's po, existing in time itself, but time is not a linear line in this scenario. Time is a complete circle, if you will, which is absolutely insane. Now, this is where the story, or what this story really means, what this story really is. This is where Black Ops 7 changes everything. This isn't just a multiverse chaos experiment thing gone wrong, or just Element 115 experiments done on people to reanimate the dead. This is absolute cinematic cosmic horror. This is kind of like what Black Ops 3 was telling all along. I'm pretty sure this is what Black Ops 4 wanted to be before Jason Blood got the can. This is in itself an HP Lovecraftian horror, cosmic horror, whatever you guys want to call it. Every map is a broken shard of reality pulled into the Dark Aether, and it's slowly collapsing as we defeat the anchors of the reality, the plane of existence in that world, that little fragment that we get pulled into. The crew isn't just surviving anymore. They're trying to stop the end of everything, not even just the end of time, the end of existence, the end of anything metaphysical, the end of anything physical. Atoms, if you will, broken down to nothingness is what they are trying to stop. Every inch of an atom, every inch of a cell, every inch of a how do you say, our perception of time, if you will. Time could be non-linear, time could be totally linear, time could just exist and we're just viewing it in a aquarium, if you will, on a single line, but it's existing all at once. We don't know, but we're trying to stop the end of that in a cycle, if you will. Now, is it all a cycle? Who knows? I am very interested to see if it plays out like a cycle. That'd be awesome. But we are getting close to the release of Totenreich. Now, we arrive at the new map, Totenreich, and this might be one of the most important maps we've seen in years. Now, the setting is a frozen Norwegian fishing village. And of course, something is very wrong, right? The town is trapped in time, frozen in place, if you will. Now, it's completely consumed by the Dark Aether. There's huge things going on. There's that big ice monster that took out the giant robot from Derice. That's awesome. We saw those robots moving around in Origins, and saw them in Stalingrad on Gorod Krovi, just, abandoned and dead, if you will. But the biggest detail, this location is tied to Group 935. So Group 935 experiments have now entered the Dark Aether universe that is slowly collapsing inside a broken shard of reality in this new episodic cosmic horror universe, right? If you know zombies lore, and then you would know why Group 935 matters. You already know how this is huge, how this absolutely amplifies the stakes in the story. Group 935 is where everything began. The experiments, the undead, the original timeline fractures, the chronorium. You guys already know the apothecans. And now those experiments are bleeding into the Dark Aether. I swear to God, if you tell me tomorrow Jason Blundell has been hired by Activision or hired by Treyarch to start doing story narratives, I would absolutely believe you, and I would be even more, impressed? No. More intrinsically inclined, or I would hold more intrinsic value to this story than I already kind of do. It would be amplified, if you will. But this all means one thing. The past, is colliding with the present. Now, there's a trailer breakdown, and Richtofen has a very famous quote. He says, this is, what is it called? What did he say? I'm not even going to go back and watch it. Whatever. But he said it was his magnum opus. There we go. I forgot the word for magnum opus for some reason. But from what we've seen so far, Totenreich is not just another survival map. It's not just survive the undead, board up some windows. We see a massive frost-covered entity, that giant rock creature, if you will. And then the Origins robot was absolutely clapped, destroyed. His cheeks were blown apart by this giant monster demon thing. And heavy hits that Richtofen is involved once again. And every single one of these kind of details do matter leading up into the story. But Richtofen's role is still kind of known, but also kind of unknown. Every time Richtofen shows up in Zombies, things seem to always get worse. There's a pattern of repetition here, pattern of recognition. If hey, I'm just recognizing patterns here kind of ordeal, you know what I'm saying? He's always experimenting, manipulating, playing both sides. I mean, the question really is he trying to stop the Warden, or is he using the chaos to gain control himself with the Warden, right? Obviously, stabbing him in the back, knowing what he's got to do. Now, let's talk about the Frost entity going forward, if you will. Please, if you made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments section below. Drop a monkey or pineapple emoji in the comments. If you do so, I'll enter you into a giveaway. Maybe. I'll just play it. Just drop one of those things, and I'll tell you guys about that in the next video. The massive frozen creature, the frost entity, if you will, that might not just be a boss, right? There's a real chance it's another Shadowsmith level entity, and it could very well be a boss. I'm not saying that it won't be, but it also might not be. You know what I'm saying? It's another Shadowsmith, maybe. What defeating it, what could that do? What is it gonna do? Is it gonna restore another piece of reality? Possibly. Or trigger something even worse, even bigger possibility, right? Now, what is Totenreich, right? We talk about the frost entity. What the hell is Totenreich? Well, when you connect all the dots, Totenreich is likely a frozen shard of reality. No pun intended. It was corrupted by 935 experiments in an older timeline, brought back forth and anchored by a powerful entity, which was the Frost entity. And just like the other maps, it's another piece of existence on the verge of collapse. Its mere existence is perverted, if you will, to this timeline. It's a cosmic entity that shouldn't be, and its mere existence is what could possibly lead to the verge of collapse regardless. The big takeaway of all this, because I'm kind of just like yapping, the Warden isn't building something new. He's already constructed the architecture. He's the architect of doom, if you will. He's tearing everything apart so he can reshape reality however he wants. And every map that we've played so far is a step closer to either saving the universe or watching it just completely fall apart. So when Totenreich drops, we're not just going to be loading into another Zombies map. We're going to be stepping into another broken piece of reality. Another fight for existence where the stakes are everything. And possibly the moment everything finally collapses before the last map. Well, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by dropping a like or a comment down below. Subscribe if you're brand new and stay locked in, because once Totenreich releases, we're going to be diving and driving into this lore as it reveals itself across the universe, which is just my desk, if you will. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you're brand new, and I'm out of here.